Hello, this is IvyTrader1 from IvyLeagueOTC.com, here today to bring you the video chart of Sneyd, Synergy Inc. The first factor to notice about this stock is to find out the areas of support and resistance, which have already been drawn out for you here. Our first level of support is at 0.015. which happens to be just below the Friday's close. This is great for us because that means that if we're lucky, we should be able to enter positions very close to support. It's always nice to enter by support because you have the added safety of knowing that previous buyers thought that that level was a good level to buy into. Looking at the next level is to find the second level of support, which, just in case that level of support tends to break, or it happens to break, we wish to know exactly where the stock will probably find the new bottom. That new bottom can be found at 0.01, which we can see right here. .01 is an area of psychological support, so it should make it a little stronger. Anything below 0.01 would send us into sub-penny territory, and usually investors are resistant to plunge a stock from the pennies into the sub-pennies. The next area to look towards is resistance. As we can see, even though we're in a pretty nice uptrend since the end of July, we've been unable to break this level of 0.03. We tried to break the level twice, once on the 23rd, again on the 24th. However, we simply weren't ready to break that level. So we can conclude that resistance is going to be at 0.03 for the third time we attempt to break that. However, the good news is that at 0.016, that's nearly 100% gains from here. So even if we're not able to break that support the third time, that should still deliver a lot of profits from members who get in on the reversal. The next indicator to look towards is the RSI. Currently we have an RSI of 54, which is right at neutral. It's actually slightly bullish, but for all intents and purposes we can consider that neutral. It's great that we have an RSI of 54 simply because it shows that the bulls are there and they are buying. However, they haven't overbought the stock. We're not in the critical level of 80 plus, and we're not considered overbought and waiting for a crash. This makes sense if you think about the 23rd, where, as you can see, we were in the critical levels. We were actually all the way at 90, and it actually pulled back to about 54. So as you can see, we're in the safe zone now. This stock rarely goes above or under the 54 RSI level. Our next indicator to look towards is actually volume. So let's see what volume's been doing. As you can see, we've had pretty good volume for the end of July until the entire month of August. However, let's see, if we look quite recently, we can see that volume has actually spiked and volume has stayed pretty high. That's always good. That means there's a lot of participants, a lot of players, and there's more liquidity, which is what we always like to see. Next indicator to look towards is the ADX. What the ADX basically represents is it shows us if a trend exists, how strong that trend is, and if that trend is bullish or bearish. As we can see, the ADX line, represented by this white line here, is at 36. Anything above 20 is considered a trend. And as you can see, since we're headed north, the trend is bullish. This is further supported by looking at the plus DI. The plus DI representing this green line pretty much represents all of the bulls and all of the buying pressure in the stock. If this plus DI line is over the negative DI line, which is red and represents the bears, that means that the stock is currently in an uptrend. If the negative DI rises above the positive DI, then that represents a downtrend. As we can see, we've been in a technical uptrend once again since the end of July. Now that uptrend has gotten weaker, as we can see here, but on the last trading period we're seeing some improved strength as that positive DI is starting to pull back up. The next and last indicator to look towards is the force indicator. This is one of my personal favorites because it's pretty much an indicator that predicts future movement. And this is how you use this indicator. Usually, as we can see, for normal trading activities, the force index doesn't move much. If the stock's moving gradually, the force index will barely move. However, if the stock rapidly moves upward or downward, the force index will spike, as seen by this dark shade of purple and this lighter shade of purple. When it spikes upward, that means not only we're in an uptrend, but it means that we should be aware that the stock won't be able to continue being in these higher levels for much longer. So when we see the force spike, we can expect a reversal in the opposite direction. And as we can see, this spike did last about a month, but if investors were paying close attention to it, they would have been wary that the stock was close to a reversal. Now what's good for us is that currently the stock has been in a mini downtrend, as we can see, from 0.03 all the way to a little above 0.01. Well, the force index has spiked the opposite direction, which is downward. This is great because we know that the force index can't continue going down and will soon try to return to balance. That return to balance will more than likely lead to an upward swing in the price, which could allow our members and ourselves to profit. In conclusion, Sneyd has many bullish indicators, and we believe a reversal is on the way. As always, use proper trade management and plan out your strategy beforehand. This is Ivy Trader 1 signing out. Good luck trading, investors.